Who won the Paranormal Liberation War arc from My Hero Academia, and why? This is the topic we'll be discussing in today's video. Let's get into it. Hey YouTube, it's BasicallyAnime. Today we'll be discussing who won this struggling battle between the heroes and the villains of this Paranormal Liberation War arc. We've already seen close to 40 chapters of just amazing 10 out of 10 action that will stick with us for the rest of the franchise. Now I'll be using and considering various aspects used in deciding who won the war, from strategy to reputation, the number of casualties, and the moral impact each side left. And at the end, we will then use our overall knowledge and decide who won this war arc. But before we get into this video, for the first time to this channel, you want more My Hero Academia content, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and tune in for more. So first we will analyze the casualties of this war on both sides. Now in every war there is bound to be a small to massive number of deaths and injuries all around. Starting off with the heroes, now I will also be factoring not only deaths but various injuries that was inflicted. On the side of the heroes, we got to see two deaths actually take place. First was pro hero Krus, who really wasn't relevant until the recent arc in which he destroyed the machine that created the quirk destroying drug. Now we were never introduced to his rank among the heroes or his relevance, but it's safe to say that he wasn't that important and was disintegrated by Shigaraki's awakened new decay quirk. Next we saw the Death of Krus, the number 6 pro hero who sacrificed himself to save Shoto Aizawa. Now most of us didn't really think twice about Krus, but when it came to Krus, we saw a hero who put his life on the line and sacrificed himself for the greater good. He was also a high-ranking hero in the top 10 of Japan's billboards. Now this didn't impact them to their core, but it's still pretty sad to see him go so quickly. We also got to see some of our favorites get severely injured, and this might change the foundations of the Hero Society forever. Now there is a huge long list of heroes that will have a long recovery time ahead of them, such as Mirako, Mount Lady, and Giant Omaki treated Mount Lady like a doll, Midnight, Majestic, Dragon Lady, and this is just part of the long list of the minor ones. Throughout this arc, we also see some major life-changing ones, like Shoto Aizawa, who was forced to cut off his own leg in order to save his quirk, Endeavor, who had practically used his quirk to the max of his capacity and beyond, Hawks, who literally has his wings burnt off by Dobby, and if you can't tell, these are some of the biggest names in the Hero Society. We also got to see Deku and Bakugo get their fair share, as Bakugo was impaled by Shigaraki, inflicting some major injuries on him. Deku, while facing Shigaraki, pushed his body past the limits of no return with back-to-back smashes, leading to back-to-back major injuries. And now, worst of all, Gran Torino. Now if you want my opinion, if Gran Torino makes it out of this, he really should go into retirement. That scene right there was one of the most gory scenes I've seen from My Hero Academia. I mean, even with his old age, he had Shigaraki literally punch his way into his stomach/chest. All of these injuries will take out some of the most heavy hitters out of commission, leaving the hero's post-war arc extremely vulnerable to another uprising or villain attack. Now on to the villains, who practically suffered nothing compared to the heroes. I mean, besides a few arrests here and there, Twice was the only major death on the villain side. It was pretty sad, and Twice was a valuable asset, but it's nothing the villains can't move on from. They also managed to lose a huge chunk of their expendable unlimited army of Nomus, but again, they can make new ones. It's nothing major that puts them in a position like the heroes right now, but if we're being honest, we did see some heavy injuries on the villain side, including Shigaraki. Worst of all, he took on Deku, Bakugo, and the rest of the heroes all at once, leaving him severely injured to the point of paralyzation. Overall, I think it's safe to say that the heroes took a major L in the first category. Next is reputation or public standing, and this isn't really an argument after chapter 291 on My Hero Academia. Even before the war arc, trust in heroes by the public was very shaky and complicated at times. Now the hero's basic duty is to protect and serve the public, and they absolutely failed. Now of course the public isn't going to just praise the villains now, but they for sure aren't going to trust the heroes for now. You can argue all you want about it, but the heroes failed to do its basic duty, which is to instill trust in the public and make sure that everything is okay. But Gigantomachia was able to go on a rampage and practically treated Japan as his own personal obstacle course and destroyed so much and caused so much wreckage and damage. Now let's note, we don't know exactly how much people died in this rampage or if anyone died at all, as the heroes did do their best in evacuating people, but in my opinion I do want people to die, not a lot but not too small, maybe like at least 100 people, because it's going to end up adding a more mature edge into this aftermath of this war arc. It's not going to be a little good versus evil fight. No, this was an actual war and actual people died. But it comes down to why Makia was able to do this in the first place. I mean, we saw the villains treat Makia like their own personal 5-star taxi while people were literally running for their lives. The homes and lives lost isn't something the heroes can repair. The heroes talk such big game about getting the villains under control and act like everything is fine. And now the public is just saying everything is not fine, because if everything were fine, how is it possible that this gigantic being that no hero seems to be able to stop is just running through our homes, and all they can do is tell us to leave instead of protecting us? I see it as a reckoning for the public to finally do something and take justice into its own hands. Even with what the villains have done, I would have to give some props to Mirio and Best Genius for pulling through and coming in the clutch and saving everybody. Now, if that moment in time was being broadcasted, I think that it could restore some glimmer, not all, but a glimmer of hope for those wondering if the heroes can come back from this. But the thing that seals the deal on the hero's reputation has to be the fact that the #1 hero Endeavor just got exposed by his own villain son as a wife beater and a father of a villain/murderer. And if that doesn't faze you, what about Hawks, the #2 hero who literally executed twice, who was practically helpless in front of all of Japan? I mean, these are the people that the public trusts with their lives, and now that they are finding out that they are praising someone who should be in jail for domestic abuse, and the murderer, which is Hawks, who also happens to have a father who is a murderer, it sort of confuses them as they are questioning who is the true heroes here and who are the true villains, who is the good guys and who are the bad guys. Now, of course, the readers know that the Hero Society is trying their best, but the public just sees them being reckless. Overall, I would have to give this category to the villains, as they completely crippled the Hero Society. Next is strategy, or should I say initial strategy, before this war arc even became a war, and I would have to give this to the heroes of all people. Now, when I say strategy, I mean planned action, and yes, the villains did manage to deal a heavy blow to the heroes, but at the end of the day, the heroes weren't looking for a war to begin with, but attacked for a strategic reason, and that was to destroy Shigaraki's lab, destroy the Nomus, and apprehend anyone they can. And they have pretty much done exactly that, meaning their mission is technically over. It was then after all of this where all the other aspects from the villain came into place, the whole exposing, the whole Shigaraki getting stronger, even though that wasn't really planned. So I wouldn't put majority of the villain's action into strategy, as most of the actions we've seen from the villains came after the mission was carried out, and that's what made it so it had a war aspect of it. Finally, the last category in this discussion, in who won the My Hero Academia war arc, its moral impact, or how much of an impact you leave on society. And I would easily give this to the villains. They shook the foundations of society to its core and managed to completely break the trust between the public and the hero society. It also comes down to who leaves a lasting impact, and the heroes have literally been playing catch up for most of this arc, so I don't really know what kind of impact the heroes left on society in this arc's entirety. I would honestly have to say that this is one of the things the heroes did right, along with preparedness, and that also kind of falls into strategy. Now, not everything went exactly to the plan, but when you look at the heroes as a whole, they were able to facilitate and control a lot of things, like where everyone was at the same time. Like the evacuation of Gigantomachia's rampage, of course they couldn't have anticipated getting exposed by Dobby, but they didn't come without a backup plan. Overall, there's a bunch of aspects or categories we have yet to talk about or even consider, but I think we can all agree that the villains won this war. The heroes did come prepared and was ready to beat up some villains, but they didn't come prepared for a war like this and weren't expecting the villains to create such an impact and expose them so much. I feel like if given time and insight on what was going to happen, the heroes could have come up with something, but it comes down to the fact they just wasn't ready for a war, but did finish the job they came to do. Anyway, make sure to let me know what you guys thought about the discussion down in the comments. This was arguably the best arcs, if not the sole best arc of My Hero Academia, from Deku's first Shigaraki to Mirio getting his quirk back. I would honestly have to say that this is a major climax for My Hero Academia history. Overall, this is the end of the video. If you're first time to this channel, want more My Hero Academia content, make sure you smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you turn on post notifications so you get notified every time I post. Have a nice day, y'all.